In January of 2015, a group of film students from New Zealand were shooting video outside their school near Auckland's Parnell railway station. The footage you're seeing was filmed by a student named Chris Meir. At first, Chris and his friends were just goofing around on camera, laughing and joking as they recorded. But suddenly, they noticed a man and woman wearing eerie white masks lurking in the tall grass beside the station, staring right at them. Initially, Chris and his buddies assumed it was just some classmates trying to prank them, which is why you can hear them laughing on the video. But later on, the students admitted that much of that laughter was really nervous laughter. They were actually quite scared. What's even more unsettling is that when they rewatched the footage, they realized the masked couple seemed to be carrying weapons.
Where's the other one? Where's the other one? I don't see him.
As the masked pair started moving closer, the students panicked and ran back toward the main road. Shortly after, they noticed a police helicopter circling the area. It's unclear exactly who called the police, but from what I've found, this wasn't the first time the mysterious couple had frightened people around Auckland while wearing creepy masks and carrying weapons. Just days earlier, they had reportedly threatened a woman in Auckland's Domain Park, but disappeared before officers could apprehend them. When police arrived at the station, Chris and his friends gave statements about what had happened. Later, the Auckland Police Department posted on Facebook, urging the suspects to turn themselves in and warning the public to steer clear of the masked pair. Police also emphasized that whenever a weapon is spotted, even if it might be fake, they have to treat it as real. Not long afterward, the two suspects apparently came forward to talk to law enforcement. However, officials kept most details under wraps. They never confirmed the couple's identities, whether the weapons were genuine or what the masked people's intentions were. One thing that's certain, this was no harmless prank. When online rumors began accusing the students of staging the incident for attention, a spokesperson from the school clarified that the masked individuals were not connected to the institute in any way. According to an article from Vice, a police spokesperson later claimed the weapons turned out to be fake, but I couldn't find any official statement verifying this. To this day, the identities of the masked couple and their motives remain a mystery. Thankfully, Chris and his friends got away safely before the situation could escalate into something far worse. In February of 2018, a man named Greg Harris uploaded GoPro footage of himself riding his ATV along an unnamed trail. For the first few seconds, everything seemed completely normal, just another typical ride. But in an instant, things took a horrifying turn. Someone had strung a metal wire between two trees across the trail, and it caught on Greg's helmet, bringing him to a violent halt. It's terrifying to think that if Greg had been going just a bit faster, or if the wire had been set a few inches lower, it could have decapitated him. Fortunately, the combination of his speed and the wire hitting his helmet instead of his neck caused it to snap rather than slicing into him. As shocking as this sounds, it's not entirely uncommon in the dirt biking and ATV community. Sometimes these deadly traps are set by property owners trying to keep riders away. Other times they're set up by people infuriated by the noise or simply by disturbed individuals wanting to cause harm. In Greg's case, it's still unknown who set up the wire. This video serves as a stark reminder to riders everywhere. Always be vigilant, especially when riding through wooded trails. A wire set at the wrong height can easily be fatal. Thankfully, Greg escaped with only minor injuries and used his video to warn others. Near the base of Mount Fuji in Japan lies a forest known to locals as the Sea of Trees. This dense forest sprouted across roughly 30 square kilometers of hardened lava left behind by Mount Fuji's last major eruption. However, the forest has gained a far darker reputation over time. It's become notorious as a place where people go to end their own lives. If you wander deep enough into this forest, it's sadly not unusual to stumble across human remains. Near the entrance, a sign written in Japanese pleads, "Quietly think once more about your parents, siblings and children. Please don't suffer alone. Reach out first." In July of 2017, an urban explorer and YouTuber named bravest decided to venture into the forest and film his experience. At first, his video is calm and uneventful, but just minutes into his trek, he comes across an abandoned bicycle, which is when things start to turn eerie.
I'm only a few meters away from the road right now, but I've already found an abandoned bike. It's actually a pretty nice bike. Let's take a look at it. I don't think it's been here a long time. What do we got in here? And there's a packet for a knife. I think I've just found some kind of note in a bag. It says 1211. I can't quite make out. I think this is somebody's name just here, and I'm not sure what this means.
Bravest then discovers an empty plastic wrapper from a kitchen knife. Moments later, he finds a note written on a plastic bag. The note reads, 1211 verified, Fujiyosha Police Station verified. This suggests that someone left their belongings behind with the intention of taking their own life, confirmed by the local police. It's chilling to consider how many lives have been lost in that forest, and even more haunting to imagine how easily a passerby could stumble upon a body while exploring the dense woods. Over the years, Japanese authorities have tried to reduce these tragedies by installing security cameras at the forest's entrance and training volunteers to speak with people who seem distressed. Sadly, despite these efforts, many still go through with their plans, and the fact that media coverage has sensationalized the forest only makes matters worse. In early 2023, a man named David Meredith was out for his usual evening stroll through his neighborhood in Red Deer, Canada. As he walked, he spotted a massive bull moose grazing beside a tree. Curious, David ducked behind the tree to watch, but the moose suddenly noticed him, turned around and charged. It's crucial to understand how dangerous this is. A grown bull moose can sprint at speeds exceeding 35 miles per hour, nearly double the speed of the average man. While moose typically aren't aggressive, they can easily injure or kill if they feel threatened. Fearing for his life, David quickly climbed up a nearby tree to avoid getting gored by the animal's antlers.
He just ran me up a tree.
From his perch, David filmed the encounter. For nearly half a minute, the moose stood below, staring up at him, while David's nervous breathing echoed in the recording. Soon after, the moose began pacing back and forth with its head lowered, a clear warning sign that it was agitated and likely would have attacked if David came down. In an interview with a local news station days later, David explained how he pulled himself up into the tree by grabbing onto a thin branch. The frightening part is how fragile the branch looked. If it had snapped, David could have fallen straight into the path of the enraged animal. Luckily, after realizing David wasn't coming down, the moose eventually lost interest and wandered off. David remained in the tree for another 30 minutes just to be safe, before finally climbing back down unharmed. During the summer of 2014, a man named Chris was cycling through the mountains near Fernie, British Columbia, when he spotted what he thought was an animal moving through the tall grass. But as he looked closer, he realized he was staring at a mountain lion, and that's when he started filming.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's a mountain lion. He's crouching in the grass. He's actually coming towards me.
At first, it's difficult to spot the animal, but as Chris continues moving along the trail, the mountain lion emerges, stalking closer and closer.
That is a mountain lion, and he's stalking me.
While mountain lion encounters are rare, they do sometimes attack people, especially if they feel threatened or are hungry. And when one is slowly creeping toward you through tall grass, locking eyes with you, it's definitely a sign of danger. About 2 minutes into the recording, the lion begins moving faster. In a moment of panic, Chris does the one thing you're never supposed to do with a mountain lion. He turns his back and starts running.
Hey, Mr. Mountain Lion. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I am much bigger than you.
Over the next several minutes, Chris attempts to scare off the big cat, but the mountain lion continues circling him, lurking in the tall grass and staring him down. Eventually, Chris tries edging back toward the trail to reach his car, but before he can get far, the mountain lion blocks his path again.
Stay back. Stay there. I'm not afraid of you.
Thankfully, after a tense standoff, the mountain lion finally turns and vanishes into the forest. Being in a situation like that has to be pure terror, because if the animal had chosen to attack, it could have easily injured or killed Chris. Fortunately, he escaped unharmed, but it was a dangerously close encounter. In March of 2019, a 5-year-old girl from Fair Lawn, New Jersey, was playing near a creek behind her family's home, just off Route 208. The family had lived in the area for 13 years and knew the woods well, so they always felt safe letting their daughter play there. But on that particular afternoon, the girl stumbled upon a pile of clothing in the woods and raced home to tell her father, Dave Carota, what she'd discovered. To Dave's shock, the clothes appeared to have been sliced off someone's body, and there were dark red stains scattered across the torn fabric. After realizing the bundle was entirely women's clothing, Dave contacted the Bergen County Sheriff's Office. He knew it was far too bizarre to simply be random trash so close to his home. Although this was the first time the girl noticed the clothes, they seemed to have been in the woods for several months, which explained some of the wear and tear, but not the suspicious cuts and reddish stains. Immediately, the Fair Lawn Police Department began asking the public if anyone recognized the clothing, hoping it was merely a discarded costume and not evidence of something far more sinister. Unfortunately, nobody ever came forward. And because the clothing hasn't been connected to any known victim or crime, authorities can't submit it for testing. To this day, the Fair Lawn Police haven't been able to match the clothing to anyone specific. All we can do is hope that whoever the clothes belonged to did not meet the terrible fate the stains seem to suggest. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the scariest things aren't what's hiding in the shadows, but what you accidentally stumble upon in the light. If you enjoyed these chilling true stories, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's lurking in the next video. And tell me, which of these encounters creeped you out the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.